Welcome to the 905 podcast. I'm your girl, Savannah.
And I'm Charles.
All right, well, welcome to the 905 podcast. I'm excited to talk to you and break down your story and what you're looking forward to, man.
Thank you, man. I'm excited too.
All right, let's get to it. So, we heard that you're a multi-sport athlete. So you got to break it down for us because your dad was a lacrosse player, very, very talented. And of course, naturally, at first, you played lacrosse. Tell us about that journey there.
So my dad is a Hall of Fame lacrosse player in New Jersey. He's, if you go to New Jersey and you say Mark Tyree, in the lacrosse world, that's like a really big name. So I've got 3 older brothers, so we all kind of played lacrosse just growing up. And I played throughout middle school and I played my freshman year in high school. But lacrosse was definitely a big part of my life.
So obviously you switched over to basketball pretty successfully. What did you take from lacrosse to basketball? Like, what are some of the similarities for those that don't play lacrosse or know the game? Like, how did you make that jump beyond the athleticism?
Lacrosse wasn't always lacrosse is never my primary sport. It was always just something I played in school or I played in high school because I didn't actually play basketball my freshman year. But soccer was my kind of main sport growing up. And with soccer, just footwork goes a lot into, being a good shooter and, being a good ball handler and, being able to shift people when you're making moves. So, different sports definitely helped me, be a better basketball player when I made that decision.
You played on the Youth World Cup team. Like, you're no slouch. Like, see, if I get out and play soccer, I'll tell you why I don't play soccer. There's too much running, and you got to get all the way to the end and offense, defense. You're a high-level soccer player. Tell us about that. You got offers from where? Like, I'll let you say.
Well, when I was younger, I was playing on a really good team in New Jersey called MatchFit, and Chelsea actually came over to America and picked up MatchFit for their American program. So we moved to MatchFit Chelsea. So I was playing with them at a really young age, and my mom and I traveled to Pennsylvania one tournament to play. The team is actually called Lehigh Valley, and they were tied with the Youth World Cup team, the USA team. And my MatchFit team, we beat Lehigh that day, I think 5-1 or 5-2. And I went crazy. I had 4 goals and an assist. So after the game,
there it is.
After the game, I was probably about 12 years old at that time. And after the game, I'm walking back to the car, and I'm probably 50 yards in front of my mom. And this guy comes running up to me, telling me, I want you on the team. We're going to travel overseas, this, that, and another. And I'm kind of looking at him like, stranger dating. So my mom comes running up, and she's like, what's going on? And the guy, gave my mom his information and told her, what the plan was going to be. And, my mom checked it out. It was all legit. And we went to Portugal. We played in the Youth World Cup, and we did well. We represented. I mean, the first game we played Spain, and we ended up losing, if you know soccer, a 5-point blowout is a blowout. We ended up losing 13-1.
Wow.
And it was mostly because we were such young kids when we went over there. We played it was a 10-hour flight, and we played the next day that we flew in. So we were so jet lagged, and I mean, we were getting, stuff thrown at us going out of the arenas and stuff. And at such a young age, all the guys were like, we got to represent, the USA. And then we ended up making it to the quarterfinals and losing in Germany. So that was pretty cool.
That's crazy. So you already traveled the world a fair bit at a young age just through soccer alone.
For sure, yeah. Sports has brought me a lot of cool places, for sure.
So you also played football, quarterback, and quarterback and safety, right?
Yep, I played quarterback my sophomore year, and then I moved to quarterback and free safety my junior year.
And you weren't no scrub there too.
Nah,
he's doing it again, Pinky. He's doing it again.
There he goes. There he goes. Listen, I would be a cheerleader because you're a big time athlete, right? You can pick up anything and make it happen. Favorite position in football, and tell us a little bit about your accomplishments there.
Well, I definitely like quarterback because, I just kind of threw the ball and, I didn't really have to do all the running and all the hitting and stuff like that. So when I went out for quarterback, I was telling coach, I only want to play quarterback. I don't want to play anything else. So that first year it was like the program only started like 2 years prior to when I got there. And the first year I was playing, we ended up going undefeated in that regular season and lost in like I think the second round of the playoffs, and New Jersey playoffs was pretty good. So it was definitely an accomplishment. And my junior year, there was a situation that happened where there was a basketball like showcase I had, and there was a football game that same night. And, I told my coach, I was like, listen, I have this basketball showcase that there's going to be college coaches there and this, that, and the third. And he said, well, listen, Breein, if you don't come and play, I can't treat you, more special than the other players on this team. If you don't come to the game, you're going to be off the team. So I ended up choosing basketball, and that was kind of the end of football for me.
Huh. Was that heartbreaking for you a little bit to have to choose right then and there?
It was, I definitely wanted to keep playing football, but I knew that, I was going to play basketball in college. I had, scholarship offers in basketball and in football. But, when I went to the schools that were recruiting me for football and I saw how big those guys were, and I was just like, I kind of like how my body is right now. So, I chose basketball. I like people seeing my face when I'm on the court and stuff like that. So
is it a low pain tolerance, or you just like to all be in one piece?
It's honestly just a good life decision to me. I'm good at basketball as well. So if I can play basketball and get a scholarship and, become a professional, I'd rather do that than, go through all the pain and the rigors that football players got to go through.
I think that's a brilliant life decision. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so now that brings you to Ole Miss. Why did you choose Ole Miss to begin with?
That's actually a really, really cool story. So I took a visit to Ole Miss just to take a visit. Like, I heard it's a cool school, a big time football school. So when I went down there, I was already going to say I was committed to one of the schools had already visited. And I really went down there, and they kind of opened my eyes to like just a new opportunity. And I met my best friend now. His name is Terence Davis, plays on the Raptors team. And at the time he was only averaging like, a point, and he wasn't really playing. But when I met him, we kind of just clicked immediately. And I knew from that day that he was going to be special. And, he was kind of the deciding factor of, where I was going to go to college. And, I made the decision to go there, and me and him ended up having a great career together, making it to the tournament our junior year, and, lifelong friends. So it was definitely a great decision.
That's pretty special. Like, take us through that time. And I want to hear some of the cool moments of your time at Ole Miss. What are some of the most memorable moments there?
Yeah, definitely for me was making the tournament. Me and TD always, and also all my teammates, I can name all of them, but that's the goal when you play college basketball, to make it to the tournament. And, we finally did it, and just hearing, that Ole Miss name and seeing us on Selection Sunday, was an accomplishment that, I've been working towards since I was a kid. So that was definitely my favorite moment in my college career.
Now, going back a little bit, back in high school, you played alongside Karl Anthony Towns. How was that like?
I sure did. I was spoiled, man. He was very, very special in high school. We ended up winning the tournament. We ended up winning the state championship and the TOC. So we got 2 rings that year. And it was special. We had another guy named Wade Baldwin. He also played in 905.
That's right.
A couple years ago too. And we had a really special group that year.
So you're just saying that, like, did he kick you the ball out like to hit the 3, or like did you pass him like assist for days? Like, how was the chemistry with Cat?
Honestly, I was kind of a role player that year. I was the young guy on the team. I was a sophomore, and they were all seniors. And my high school coach at the time, Coach Turco, probably my favorite coach of all time. If you weren't on his starting 5, you weren't playing. So, I was on that starting 5 and played like every single game. And I was really the athletic guy that ran the rim, dunked on people and stuff like that. As they left, I really grew my game into becoming a 3-level scorer. So
what did you love about him as a coach? What made him so special as a coach?
Like I said, I was one of his guys. So, I didn't come out the game ever. So,
playing time. That always helps.
No, but also, he really spent a lot of time with me off the court. And he really grew a relationship with me and my family. And I still talk to him till this day. And, you can ask Wade, you can ask Carl, you can ask all those guys, and we all feel the same about him. He's just a great person and a great coach.
So it's interesting because you mentioned that Terence Davis is one of your best friends, and I know doing a little research, I've noticed a few articles that kind of compared you guys. One article even said that you were a steal, just like Terence Davis. So I find it interesting. Like, did you guys think because of your relationship was so close and you're working together that you kind of bounced off your styles?
Yes, for sure. I mean, we always felt like we were underdogs coming out of Ole Miss. They always had us like picked last. Even the year that we made it to the tournament, they picked us last in the SEC. So we kind of came out and just wanted to prove people wrong, and just some that I feel like undrafted guys all have a chip on their shoulder, and it's just a relationship that me and TD kind of connected with, and we just ran with it.
So, talking about being an undrafted guy, talk about that process. Like, what was the drafts, the whole thing from beginning to end, like for you? From the emotions that go with it. Obviously, I think there's a lot of guys. Everyone knows the Fred VanVleet story that are sort of making believers out of those who might doubt themselves, right? Like, what was it like for you?
Well, it was definitely tough, especially dealing with all the COVID protocols. I didn't have Portsmouth to show what I can do. I didn't have Summer League to show what I can do. I couldn't be in the G League Combine and the NBA Combine and, really compete against my peers and, raise my draft stock. So it was definitely tough just because all I could really do was Zoom interviews like this and create relationships with NBA teams through, just them asking me questions and just setting up Zoom calls. So it was definitely hard. And I mean, I stayed in the gym daily, working out with my trainer in Atlanta, Georgia. And, when draft night came, I had a couple of teams on my watch list that were telling me, if I was still on the board, this, that, and the third. But, it just wasn't in the cards for me. And it's not something that, I was too sad about. Obviously I wanted to hear my name, but it's just something you just got to add to the fire, fuel to the fire, and just, know that the journey's not done and you just got to keep working.
Yeah, you had a bit of a roller coaster because not too long after you got signed to the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And then after that, you made your way here, 905,
Right.
to be part of this development organization that honestly, as we've noticed, develops guys like Fred, Pascal, Norm. Bring us through what it has been like since draft night.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great experience, even with the Miami Heat, going through their training camp, just playing against professionals, seeing how they move and the different things I needed to get better at. And just learning the professional game, and coming to the 905 and being in this organization, it's been definitely great. Learning the system and just being around pros, and just starting my career.
How much has TD helped you with that in terms of getting acclimatized to Raptor land?
Yeah, TD's definitely helped me along the way. Just if I ever have a question or something I don't understand, or just even him giving me some advice, we both help each other, and anything I need, he's always there.
Tell me a little bit about what you can do. Like, people know your game. Some people do, some people won't. Describe it. Like, who are you as a basketball player?
I feel like in college, I was a 3-level scorer. I had to score the ball, for my team to win. So, I definitely have that in my game. I'm a natural born scorer. But, I feel like I'm very, very athletic, very fast in the open floor. And I feel like I've also got great vision. So I'm going to be a point guard to get guys involved, but also get a bucket when we need it.
What is the goal this year for you on the court?
My goal is to win, whatever it is. I just want to be a part of a winning organization. I feel like when you win, good things happen for everybody on the team, not just one person. So, obviously I want to do well individually with my numbers, but, if that's not in the cards, I just want the team to win.
What's that balance like for you though, right? Like you just said it, you want to do well with your numbers. Obviously, we talk about players that can impact winning, right? And obviously you've been able to do that. You've done it at the tournament, you've done it in high school. How do you find that balance? Right? Like, I think that's an interesting question for people. How do you find the balance between going to get yours and making sure that it's valuable and that you're helping your team win?
Just trying to make the right play every time. It's not about scoring 25 points and, losing. I'd rather score 12 points and win. because those 12 points, like you said, were winning plays and in the flow of the offense and stuff that, the team as a group is bought in and trying to do. So I also, definitely realized that at the next level that they're not going to need me to score 30 points. They're going to need me to, go in and play defense, make the open shots and make the right reads to make other guys around me better. So, that's just something I'm trying to show I can do.
Now, there's a lot of leadership happening on this team between Nick Stauskas's, leadership and the amount of experience he's bringing in from the NBA. We talked to Gary Payton II earlier, and they're all bringing their on-court NBA experience. But however, I wanted to point to yours because you had a fair bit of leadership within the SEC. Like you sat on the chair for basketball leadership in the conference, and you've been described as a high IQ guy with high character. So how are you bringing that leadership and your experience to this team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with the SEC Leadership Council, I sat as the chair for 3 years. I mean, for my sophomore year, they chose me as the chair, and I really took that as an honor because they could have picked anybody, and they picked me for some reason. So I kind of just try to do that at the best of my ability, and bringing this to the 905 is just leading by example. And I feel like you can say a lot of things and lead in that way, but just showing my work ethic and just bringing just true heart and true work ethic to the game. I think that's the way I'm going to lead this year.
You're being humble.
Yeah, I'm gonna put something else out there. One of 30 candidates nationwide up for the senior class award, right? So notable achievements in community, the classroom, character, and competition. That's big time. That's big time. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you got to give that to my parents, man. They raised me right. It comes easy to me. It really does. Just being a people person off the floor and also just working hard on the court. I just feel like it's in the DNA that, I pretty much was brought up on.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Shout out to mom and dad,
ask you,
of course.
Breein, what do you stand for?
What do I stand for? That's a vague question. In what way?
Keeping it that way. What do you stand for when you're on these councils, when you're taking on these leadership roles in the community? What are you saying? What are you putting out there?
Well, I'm always for the players, honestly. Because especially when I was on that council in college, I was just trying to make the player experience better. And it's something that I stand for. I feel like equivalating to that in the real world, I'm just for the people. Any way we can make it better for everybody in any situation, I feel like that's definitely the way to go.
So just to follow up on that, Black History Month, we've had a year of a major social justice movement. Sort of how have you taken that all in? And what are your thoughts on where we're at and where we're heading?
Yeah, it's been a tough year. It's definitely been a tough year. And it's been hard for me to watch a lot of the stuff that's been going on, especially in Black communities and how, we've been being treated, with police brutality and, just how society is made up in today's world. But I'm glad that there's, light being shed on it now, at least. And we're trying to move in the right direction as a people because, as somebody that's Black, I deal with that every day. It's something that, I can't get away from. And it's something that I'm not trying to get away from and shy away from. So, like I said, I'm glad that we're talking about it and we're not just pushing it under the rug anymore. And I think that's the first step for us moving forward.
The Raptors is an organization that has really led the charge in these discussions amongst the league. So I think you're playing for a great organization that is very comfortable with having some uncomfortable conversations and moving the needle. How do you feel like you want to use your platform within this franchise to continue that?
Definitely. I'll come up with ideas as it goes on. Something I definitely don't want to force. But as I get, more comfortable with this organization, I feel like that opportunity will come.
Talk about the organization. How did this all come about? Who phone calls? I know agents and all this stuff all get worked in, but how did it come about? What did you know about Toronto and the organization? Talk about that process.
Well, yeah, I had two interviews with Toronto prior to the draft, and they were really interested in me and telling me, that they were wanting me. Obviously, they knew me through Ole Miss and what I did in college, but after I signed the deal with Miami and they waived me. They also said that they weren't going to be in the G League bubble this year. So I was on the waiver wire for like 1 or 2 days, and on the last day, my agent called me and gave me a couple of teams that said they wanted to sign me to the same deal, and I chose Toronto just because like we said earlier, they have a history of developing guys within the 905 organization and giving them a shot. They're worth it.
So now you mentioned going back to your Jersey roots. What should us Canadians up here know about your hometown and where you're from?
You should know. I mean, I'm from Franklin, New Jersey, Somerset, New Jersey, and that's a place where a lot of people take pride in it, and I try and represent them as best as I can. And something that you should just know about New Jersey in general is that we're hard nosed. No nonsense. It's like pretty much if you're from New Jersey, we're all they come from the same cloth. Just hard workers, going at your neck kind of people.
See, I'm smiling a lot because one of our first impressions of Jersey is from Jersey Shore. So I don't think that's.
He's like, please no.
Oh my gosh.
So set the record straight
horrible.
for me. Set the record straight.
I can just set this record straight that I think like maybe all of them on that show, they're actually not from New Jersey. They're not from New Jersey. They're from like Staten Island or something. So like they don't derive from New Jersey. The show was just made in the Jersey Shore. And where the show is made, that's like the worst beach in Jersey. Like it's like the dirtiest beach. I mean, so
what's the nicest beach in Jersey?
I love to go to Belmar. It's called Belmar Beach. It's where I grew up. Going to the beach with my dad early in the morning and stuff like that. So Belmar is the beach to go to in New Jersey. But you can only go in like July, August. Yeah,
really?
Sand
Why is
training
that?
all the time. Because it's terrible weather. Like, once it hits winter, it's about 20 degrees outside. And once it's spring, the water's too cold because it was just 20 degrees. So once it gets to like June, July, August, it's perfect.
Have you been to Toronto or Mississauga?
I have actually, my junior year, me and TD both were in Canada for our like foreign exchange trip. I believe we were in, if you named it, I think it's called
Montreal.
I think we're in Montreal was one of them. Montreal, and we also took a trip. If you know where Carleton,
Ottawa.
Yeah,
Ottawa.
Montreal, Ottawa. I remember that.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's where we went, and so yeah, I did spend some time in Canada.
What were your impressions?
A lot of French. I didn't know everybody spoke French up there. I was actually kind of surprised about that. It was also very clean. The cities I was in, it was really, really clean. Like going to New York, you always see like trash on the sides, like big bags of trash, like the streets full of trash, the smog smell and stuff like that. When I was in Toronto or Montreal, sorry. It was very, very, very clean. Like there was none of that. So it was very surprising.
Yeah, we keeps it clean. Montreal is a French speaking for the most part, predominantly French. If you came to Toronto, Mississauga, it wouldn't be as much French, probably certainly majority English, but both great places. I got to ask you about the bubble. Okay, so you're in the bubble, and I know when you packed, you thought, man, I got to bring this one thing. What was it? My
PS4. I'm pretty sad that I don't have the PS5 yet. That's in the making right now. But
in the works. You got your people working on it?
I got my people working on it right now. I mean, I had an opportunity to get it, but they tried to charge me a little bit too much for it. So I was just like, I'm gonna just wait until it's, down to retail price. So, but yeah, I had to bring my gaming system because, you got a lot of free time just because we can't be on the court all day with COVID and all that kind of stuff. So when practice is over and I'm just sitting in the room, I had to have the PS4.
What are you playing?
Go ahead.
What am I playing? I've been playing a lot of Fortnite again. I was playing Fortnite back when I was in college, and I kind of let it go for a little bit, but I picked it back up. And I also play PGA golf because I love to golf. So definitely a way for me to golf virtually. Yeah.
So are you good?
Yes, I'm actually pretty good at golf. I'm not gonna say like I shoot like a 73 and my handicap's like a 3. But if I play like a par 70 course, I'll probably score like an 86, 88.
So everything you touch, just like we said earlier, you're just a sort of naturally talented.
Yeah, naturally talented. And like I said, you also just gotta give credit to my dad and my older brothers. They're also the same way as me. They're good at everything they do. So
But
got
who
kind of
put
had
you
to
on
keep
to
up.
golf? Who put you on to golf? Golf is not one of those things that everyone just picks up.
Yeah.
Right. I went to a private school so my whole life. So I was fortunate enough to be taught by one of the physical education teachers. He was the head, golf guy in like the state of New Jersey. His name is Mr. Forney. And he taught my brothers how to swing, taught me how to swing. It's something I learned how to do at a young age. And with COVID coming and, having a lot of free time, it was something I picked up again. And I got the golf bug. And once you get the golf bug, it's over.
So
So
who's winning?
I was
You,
out there
Steph, or
like 5
Barkley?
times a week.
You, Steph Curry, or Barkley? Who's winning? You, Steph Curry, or Barkley? You're all
I'm
out there
coming in
the
second.
trio.
I'm coming in second. Steph's got me right now because he's had lessons and he's got fitted clubs and stuff like that. But I give Charles Barkley a word.
So
But Steph's got real skill. I watch him play a lot.
Okay. So, you talked about golfing, but like, do you have any other passions outside of basketball?
Yes, I do. I mean, definitely a man of God. So, definitely religion is something I'm passionate about. Family is definitely another thing I'm passionate about. My brother just had a daughter, so I have a new niece, and I treat her almost like she's my own. So it's something I'm very passionate about. And music, definitely love music. I play music, listen to music, anything music, I'm all about it. So
You gotta tell us what you play now.
I taught myself how to play guitar, or my brother helped me teach myself how to play guitar before he gets mad at me.
Like, yeah,
before he gets mad, you know what I'm saying?
Who is your favorite musician? Who are you listening
Favorite?
to? Who's your favorite?
I mean, like,
Give me a couple.
obviously, I like hip hop, but I don't really like hip hop the most, but I probably listen to it the most.
Right.
But my favorite rapper is J. Cole. If I had to pick my favorite musician, though, musician, I'd probably go Pat Metheny. But singer songwriter, gotta go with some old school guys like Marvin Gaye or something like that.
Charles, what's with the guys in the old school?
Yeah,
we
got a lot of old souls, a lot of old souls.
Because man, this new music is like,
right?
It's got no substance. It's got no substance. That old stuff, it had substance in it, man.
You mean you don't like listening to like like
it's like it gives me a headache after like 30 minutes. I gotta turn it off.
I heard that you listen to Drake sometimes before a game.
I definitely do. Drake is definitely one of my favorite artists. He's probably the GOAT when it's all said and done.
Interesting.
Okay. Oh,
wow, big claim.
Drake's probably the GOAT. Yeah. He's the GOAT. Come on now, like let's.
Yeah, no, I'm not debating it. I think
anything he raps on, it's platinum. Like anything he touches, it's just like.
If Drake is listening to this, he should know. Breein says that he's the GOAT.
Of course,
that's
right.
He's
the GOAT.
You're the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. Come on now.
Who do you put up against them? Who's next then?
So yeah, I'll go Drake, and then I gotta go my man J. Cole, man. Like,
yeah,
I think Cole World is definitely lyrically, he's right there with Drake. I mean, I just don't think he has the mainstream push as Drake does, but talent wise, I think J. Cole's right there.
Okay, I gotta ask: one, do you have the OVO plug yet? And
nah,
two,
I don't have the OVO plug yet. I don't. It's
coming.
It's coming.
It's gonna come soon. And two, what's your favorite album from J. Cole?
My favorite album from J. Cole, I'm more of a mixtape guy from J. Cole.
Oh, really?
But if I had to choose one of his albums, I'd probably say The Warm Up, even though that's a mixtape. But yeah, I'll go with The Warm Up.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
So following up on those questions, like if you weren't playing basketball at such a high level, what would you be doing? If it wasn't basketball, what would it be? What would it be?
It'd be another sport.
Okay.
Football.
But if it wasn't a sport, I mean, I probably would have took school more seriously and spent that time that I spent in the gym and working on my body on just working on my mind and figuring it out that way.
Speaking of school, you took multidisciplinary studies. Can you explain what that is exactly?
It's really nothing. It's like
you're honest.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's really nothing. Like I tried doing business corporate communications and it was really, really kicking my butt. So I had to change, just to keep playing pretty much. So once I went to multidisciplinary studies, I was getting straight A's. So
listen, you were
the easy route.
You were trying to figure out what you were interested in, and you were taking a balance of things. I respect that. You're diverse interests.
Right. I got the degree though. I got it.
That's all that matters.
I got the degree.
That's all that matters.
A lot of people can't say that. I mean, it's probably won't give me anything, but I got it.
Stop.
You're getting yours. You're getting yours. I got to ask. You kind of mentioned Steph Curry, but who did you look up to as you were a youngster playing basketball? Who were your idols?
Allen Iverson was my idol. I wanted to do everything he did. I wanted to get the tattoos and have braids and do all that, even though I don't have that many tattoos. That's also soon to come. But yeah, I wanted to be just like him.
How's mom's going to feel about you getting tattoos?
My mom, I mean, once again, my brothers all have tattoos, so she's okay with that. She got to be okay with me. Even though I'm the baby, my dad is actually one that doesn't like tattoos.
Oh.
But my mom's favorite player is Allen Iverson too, so she's gotta love it.
What about his game? What was it about Allen Iverson's game that drew you to him?
He was just so fearless. Like when you watched him play, it was like you thought no one could stop him. And like when you're going up against greats like Kobe Bryant and scoring 40 points in the finals and winning a game against Kobe and Shaq, and you're on 6 foot 6'1" on a good day, like that's something that like I feel like everybody looked up to. So just his tenacity, man, and how he competed and how he wanted to win and how he was just like, we talking about practice, like just his edge. I just really liked it.
AI was sorry, Charles.
No, go. I was just gonna ask because you mentioned AI going up against Kobe and Shaq. I remember those battles as well. Talk a little bit about Kobe. Did he have an influence on your game? What's your feeling? Obviously, he's always in the GOAT conversation and just as good after he was done in terms of what he was building.
Right.
Talk a little bit about Kobe.
Well, growing up, I always hated the Lakers. I always didn't like Kobe and Shaq. But as I got older, I had an appreciation just for everything he brought to the game and just that Mamba mentality that he showed the world and just showed everybody how to push through adversity. And, when he tore his Achilles or had an Achilles injury and then still hit the free throws and just those type of stories that Kobe demonstrated night in and night out, and, scoring 60 points in his final game. And when he was taken from this world, taken from us, so soon, like I cried. I'm not even going to lie. I cried and it showed like, I didn't like Kobe, but deep down, I loved him. Like I feel like everybody did, and it still like hurts me to even talk about it. Like that he's not here, and doesn't even really feel real, to be honest. Still,
no, I'm still processing it as well, and not to mention his daughter Gianna's. But that's like as a woman basketball player myself, like that one really hit home for me, and like I was actually the same thing as you. Didn't really like Kobe that much as like a rivalry thing, but you got to grow up with him and you towards the end, like, nah, okay. Respect, knows game, very respective his game, mentality, everything. Right. You mentioned AI though, he was an undersized point guard. And I mean, I've seen some of your criticism and it's more, you're a bit of an undersized shooting guard. So what is giving you the edge and keeping you in the game?
I don't feel like I'm a shooting guard at all. Like when I played in college, that was my role, to be a scorer, because we needed points to win. But I feel like I'm a solid point guard. I feel like my ball handling skills are above average and excellent. And I feel like I have a high IQ for the game and just understanding where people are on the floor and getting guys open and making the right pass and the right read. So, they put me down as a shooting guard because I was always a scorer in college, but I'm really a point guard.
I mean, that's amazing because like the NBA point guard, it's honestly it's transformed since Steph touched the ball into more of a scoring position. So if you have the skill set of a shooting guard, but yet you're in the point guard spot and have all the ball control that they do, I'm looking forward to seeing what you got on the court then.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely excited too, and I think that's where 905 is going to have me, is running the point.
That's a beautiful thing. Now we know what's in your hands. You're handling the rock. What about your feet? What do you wear? What are you playing in?
It depends on the day. You know,
He got a lot of shoes. He got a lot of shoes.
It depends on the day. Like, I got some of my shoes actually getting shipped in here because I didn't want to, pay all the money with all the bags and stuff like that. But I got some of my stuff coming in. Some nights I'll wear Jordans. You know what I'm saying? I only rock 11s when I play. If I'm gonna wear Jordans, I like the Paul Georges. His old shoe, like I think it was last year's edition with the zipper. And I like the old Kyries, the Kyrie 3s. They feel good on my feet, but it really depends. I switch it up.
I got the Kyries in the back.
Yeah, you see those?
Okay,
I was the one pair of shoe, maybe 2 a year guy, so it's always so crazy. Yeah, I know, right? Sad. I know. We'll have a pity party later, but how often are you flip-flopping them out? Like, are you wearing a new pair every night? Are you, wearing them a week? Like, how do you go through that rotation?
Like, if I have a good game in a pair of shoes, like, I'm gonna wear them again. So if those shoes keep showing me love, I'm gonna keep showing them love. You know what I'm saying? But once I kind of feel like the arc in the shoe isn't kind of the same, I don't have the same pop in the shoe, I always kind of switch it out and just put them in retirement.
Just based off of the shoes that you mentioned, you're more of like a mid to high top guy?
Yeah, I also use Kobe's too. So Kobe's are definitely something that I like to hoop in. So yeah, I'm a mid to low type guy.
Mid to low. Geez, no one's high so far. No, everybody we've talked to, nobody has been a high top.
It's too bulky, you know what I'm saying? In this game, I feel like you gotta have the movement that you want. So for me, I like a low top.
That's fair. For me, it's the ankle support. I'm not trying to roll no ankles.
Yeah, that's why I get my ankles taped though. So you gotta, you gotta get your ankles taped. Yeah. Especially with guarding these guards out here, they'll break your ankles.
100%. And so,
Are you speaking of
that, the AIs and the Kobe's break your ankle types. Who's in the league right now that you kind of look up to and respect? Who's the current player that you're like, I not idolize necessarily, but I really like where they're going with their game.
I got 2 players. CJ McCollum's always been like my favorite player in the NBA. I just really, really love how he uses his body to, create space and create his own shot. And also somebody I've also definitely been watching is Fred VanVleet, but obviously we've already spoken about him. But is Monte Morris. He plays on the Denver Nuggets. He went to Iowa State, and I watched him even when he was at Iowa State. And I just love how, when he has the ball, you're not going to take his ball. He's not the fastest guy, but he always makes the right read. I think his assist turnover ratio this year is something crazy, like 8-1 or something.
Wow.
Like he's got like over 60 assists and under 10 turnovers. So that's as a guard, that's what you want. So that's what I've been watching a lot of film on him and just trying to kind of just take different pieces of his game and put it into mine.
That's high level. Like, that's really high level, because a lot of people would be looking at the superstar point guard. Not that, these guys are all obviously very good, but to be able to look at those nuances in a guy's game like that, who may not be as well known, right? You could have said Jamal Murray. You could have, there's other guys you could have named, but that's pretty high level to be able to look at that detail and spot it out and say, hey, I want to put that in my game. That's going to make you very successful.
Right.
This is how Charles was a coach.
Yeah, that's high level stuff. When you hear that, you're like, okay, this guy is going to be very special. Speaking of special, I have a go-to meal. Like when I'm really hungry, there's two things I want to eat. One of them is oxtail. Have you had that yet?
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
okay, good.
He
And the other
knows.
is,
He
right?
knows.
He knows. And the
Of
other is
course.
pad thai. Those are my two. Like when I'm hungry, I got to get to one of those two things.
Of course.
What are yours?
I'm gonna be honest, like as of lately, I've really, really like been abusing salmon for some reason.
Hey, it's
I don't
good
know
for you.
why. It's good for you, but like I never really ate it when I was younger, but nowadays like I just love it. So for right now, anything with salmon and like rice and that combination, I like it. But I also gotta go with some jerk chicken, man, and some plantains and
Yes.
rice and beans. Like my brother's girlfriend. Well, yeah, his girlfriend. Uh, she owns her own restaurant, and I mean, she brings home. It's like a Jamaican style restaurant, and she brings all that stuff home. So that's my favorite kind of food.
You just made Savannah's heart smile.
I was gonna say because like speaking about language, not to mention like that's my go-to meal, like jerk chicken on a long day. Oh,
Oh
Lord.
my goodness!
So good.
Like who doesn't want that with a little bit of cabbage? Like I need it.
Yes,
I need
get that coleslaw in there.
it.
Oxtail gravy on top.
Yes,
Oh,
I
Lord.
need it. I need it.
So when you come to Mississauga, if the pandemic settles and whatever, if you ever make your way to Mississauga in real life, there's great potluck. There's a potluck spot serves the best chicken, jerk chicken, and throughout Toronto we have literally the best. There's an authentic Jamaican community here called Little Jamaica, and so it's the real deal. It might be too
Okay.
spicy.
Okay. I
You
like
handle
spicy
spice?
food though. I like spicy
Okay.
food though. Yeah, I don't
All
like
right.
extra spicy food. Like when people do like those wing challenges where like the
Oh yeah, no.
spice is like gives you a headache. I don't like all that, but like a little tang, like Indian food, like kind of like that kind of stuff.
That takes the like over spicy takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to talking about you and TD. Do you guys ever play one-on-one? And if so, who won? And if you guys could play right now, who would win?
Obviously, I'm gonna say me. Yeah, and we played a lot in college, and you know there was days where he got the best of me, and there was more days where I got. Now I'm saying, but yeah, we played a lot in college, and you know we went at it every day in practice. There wasn't a lot of days in practice where we were on the same team, so we always went at it. And still to this day, you know, when we work out together, we're always going to check it up at the end of it and see what's up on that day.
Nice.
5 years from now, where do you want to be? Where are you going to be?
5 years from now, I want to be on
What's the
an
narrative?
NBA.
What's the narrative 5 years from now for you?
5 years from now, I'm gonna be on an NBA roster somewhere, helping the team win. You know, growing my resume. You know, just building the trust with an organization.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Eating post game jerk chicken meals.
Yes,
Right?
sir. I mean, not too much, because you know you got to stay in shape during season.
Of course. Postseason.
After the season, you know,
postseason.
you know, we going crazy with all that. We going crazy.
What's your goal? I guess in the bubble, you know, you want to develop, you want to win, but like, I guess what's the ultimate goal that you want to get out of it?
Honestly, some film at the pro level. You know, that was a knock on me that I haven't been a pro. I'm a 4-year guy, and they don't know if I can do it at this level and stuff like this. And you know, they don't know if I can score at this level. You know, I just kind of want to prove that I can do it. You know, no matter who's on the floor with me. You know, playing better players. You know, my level of play rises. So you know, I'm definitely looking forward to playing pros and showing that I belong.
Well, you have the Ignite team. Speaking of 4-year guys versus not, right? The Ignite team's playing. What's your take on that? And you know, what advice would you have for those guys? Obviously, it's a little different because you know you spent those 4 years in college, which helps for sure, right? And I think for certainly it's an advantage, and the league has almost moved away from that in a sense. But what sort of advantages do you have? And also, what advice would you give those young guys who haven't really, you know, high level, highly talented, but they haven't really experienced anything yet?
I would just give them not to do too much. Don't do anything that, you know, is not inside of your game. You know, that's when you won't look as good to the scouts and, you know, people that you're trying to, you know, get a job from. Just be who you are, do what you're good at. Don't go outside of your comfort zone. You know, when the game comes out, trying to shoot step back threes, if that's not what you do. Just do what you do, and you'll be fine.
That makes a lot of sense. Circling back real quick, what has been the one transferable skill that you've brought into basketball?
I would say, well, lacrosse. I mean, lacrosse is kind of hard to give similarities in basketball. But I would just say balance. Especially with going from soccer and playing with your feet and going to lacrosse and playing with your hands and football, getting hit and staying on your feet. It has a lot to do with basketball. When you're going in the lane and somebody hits you, being able to finish through contact with the and one, I feel like it all kind of goes hand in hand.
I have one more question for you. People who don't know you, and it doesn't have to be about basketball, what's one thing about you that people might not know, that whether it's hidden talent, whether it's something special that people don't know about you, that you want people to know?
One thing that people don't know about me that I want people to know. Honestly, yeah, I'm trying to give you some substance here, but
no substance. It could be, hey, I like playing tic-tac-toe. You know what? One of my daughters is 3, and we'll walk up to each other and be like, rock, paper, scissors, go. Right? and we're on. And then my 9-year-old, we play tag. Like, that's our thing, in the house running around.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's no substance.
I'll say, I mean, if people didn't know it about me already, that like I'm outgoing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not somebody that's kind of an introvert. I'm very, very outgoing. And like, if anybody, especially when COVID, goes away, but like, I'm not somebody that is like, oh, like, I don't know if he's mean or like, I talk to everybody, have conversations with people. I'm a people person.
Are you super competitive between your siblings?
Yes. Ultra competitive. Like, ultra competitive. Me and my brother have this spades app on our phones, where I don't know if you know how to play spades. It's a card game, but yeah, we go at it almost daily.
Really? Who wins?
Yeah. Come on now. Obviously.
But you said you're the youngest, right? So
yes, I'm the youngest.
So let's be honest. I'm the youngest too, so we have that in common. They were all beating up on you forever, right? Like in everything.
Oh, yeah.
You were losing.
Oh,
you took your licks. You took your fair share.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'll admit, I took mine too. At what point did you get over the hump? At what point, there's that point where it's like you cross over and there's no looking back.
I'll say probably like my freshman year of high school. Like, I became like the tallest brother, and like that's when I kind of like started, kind of growing into my body a little bit. And I'm not gonna say like they still couldn't beat me up and stuff like that. They were definitely still stronger than me at that time, but I think that's when they kind of started giving me my respect, when I started, earning my everything I was getting. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was going to my parents and crying and saying like he hit me. It was like I was outside working on my game on my own, and I was working towards my goals and achieving the things I was going to. So that's when they kind of like took a step back, and we really started growing a relationship as friends.
I could validate that because I'm tied. I'm actually a twin. I'm tied for oldest sibling, and all my younger siblings, like we used to not pick on them. It was friendly. We
She picked on them. You picked on them.
Come on now, you were so mean.
But
oh my god,
my brother, my youngest brother, he is now taller than me. He's probably around your height, Breein, and now all of a sudden he's a nice guy. Made friends. We're best friends now. So
right.
I can validate, when they get a little older and taller and stronger, you start to come real close, real good friends.
Real good friends out of nowhere. It's crazy.
Savannah blames all the beatings on her twin, like hoping he won't remember, It wasn't me, I swear.
Yeah, that's a good out right there. You're like, yo, you can't tell the difference between us, bro. Like, I don't know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I got this is my last question for you. What are you watching? Are you a Netflix person? Are you what are you watching? If you are, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, whatever it is, what do you give me the recommendation? What are you binge watching right now?
Binge watching. Right now, I've actually been looking for shows to watch.
Okay.
But I watch a lot of basketball, bro. Like that's all I
What,
really do is watch sports. So I
what's your
mean, right
genre?
now, genre for movies. I kind of like the action mixed with a little drama. You know what I'm saying? Mixed with a little like suspense. You know, I don't really like the slow, sad movies. I'd rather have a little like, a little bit of suspense. So I'll say like a thriller.
Okay. Any recommendations, Kissy?
I was just thinking of my list, man. I'm gonna hit Stefano with the list of movies for you because I got,
Okay.
I try to every time I see a good movie, I try to, and usually I'm like you, I watch a lot of basketball, so oftentimes I'm like, I'll watch movies. I'll watch a 20-minute movie, or sorry, a 2-hour movie in over like 4 days. Like 20 minutes at a time. Just because I don't always have it, but I'll definitely send you some recommendations.
Okay. One
And I
show I
want to
was
say,
watching
oh, go ahead.
was the one show I was watching was they got to come out with like the last of the series or whatever. But The Power, I was in The Power for a while, but every Sunday I watched it, so it's not like I was binge watching. I kept up every week, so
Nice. Power has been a popular one.
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Breein, I want to say something. Thank you for your time. Thank you for I know you were running off to do other things and you got to eat still. There's an oxtail, I'm sure, waiting for you somewhere in Orlando. But I want to thank you for being here. Really appreciate the conversation and looking forward to just watching you now and 5 years from now and beyond. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. It was fun.
Take care, man. Pleasure talking to you.
All right, have a good one.
Charles, what another great conversation with another 905 player, this one being Breein Tyree. Charles, what was your takeaway from our conversation?
Listen, this is a 4-year kid not a kid, 4-year man who is just, he's got that, there's something about him for me, the fact that, he's watching film of Monte Morris and looking at his assist turnover ratio, he's pretty focused on some significant detail. I think he's going to be very special.
I like the fact that he was a shooting guard first in university, and now he's transferring over to being a point guard. So, that's really a great combination to have in the NBA and the G League, a point guard who could score, who's not afraid to score. He can set his teammates up, he can set himself up as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him bring that on the court. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's so well balanced, right? Like he just is all the things you just mentioned, and then off the court, he's so well balanced. Obviously, he likes oxtail and jerk chicken, so we got to like him for that too.
He's a good guy when he likes oxtail and jerk chicken.
That's right. That's the barometer. That's the measuring stick.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the Raptors 905 podcast. Tune in next time.